Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Investor More, and I am at the beach condo we stayed at in Florida just a week or two ago. And I love to show the places we stay at, the Airbnb, what it was like, and talk just a little bit about the relaxation of the vacation, or sometimes the not so relaxing vacations. But this one was a little different. So warm, so hot. I'll talk about that. And there were some dangers in the ocean a little bit this time. So talk about that as well. Here is the front. I know I forgot to show or do a video of the front of the property while I was there. I did get the inside of it, but here we are, and it was right on the ocean. Really neat location. As you can see over here, if I scroll over a little bit on the Google view, well, maybe a little too far, but there you go. There's the ocean right there, and we'll show what the place looks like here. So I am a real estate investor and broker and show all my properties in Colorado that we flip or hold as rentals. We have commercial properties, multifamily properties. So I like to do walkthroughs of properties we stay at too. And it's funny because someone was talking about Facebook how I was making all these claims about all these properties I own. I didn't really own them. We just manage them. I am very clear about any properties I don't own. I do not own this property. Right? It was a vacation rental. One we stayed at. If I don't own a property, I will always tell you up front, it's not my property. But this place was pretty nice. Had a decent kitchen. Nothing crazy fancy, but it had granite. Like I've got 3 kids and my wife. We were all here, so it had room for all of us. Even though it was just a 2-bedroom, we have a little trick we do for our 4-year-old daughter, and I've got 12-year-old twins as well. One thing you saw, the toilet seat was up. That would drive Nikki crazy. Nikki's my project manager, who was taking care of everything while I was gone. But one of her biggest pet peeves is when the toilet seats are up in our houses. And it was kind of surprising to see the seats up when we first got there. I'm sure they cleaned them, but that's a pretty simple thing to do. So some of these I like to kind of give tips and too, if people have Airbnbs or vacation rentals, on things they can do to make them better or help out people. So here you can see the best part about it, why we rented this spot right up against the beach. And we actually have private beach here in Florida. So each condo got 15 feet. They went out directly to the beach, and you're only supposed to use that 15 feet. People can walk along the water, use the water all they want, but the actual beach itself, if you're putting chairs down, etc., you're only supposed to be in the 15 feet wide access for each condo there. And people kept trying to come over and use those, and it is very easy to see if they were, because they always brought a tent and awning, and it's very clear it said no tents or awnings allowed, and other people were always telling people to leave, and some of the people who worked there, but it wasn't too bad. It's very nice having a private area. As you can see, this is the upstairs of the condo. It actually did have a basement too. It's kind of weird. We'll show you that. But it has 2 bedrooms up. Like I said, there's 5 of us, but there were a bed for each of our 12-year-olds. And then my 4-year-old actually loves it. I don't know if I show it in this video, but we set up a little bed for her in the closet, and that becomes her room too. And sometimes we'll get a 3-bedroom or 2-bedroom. Just depends on what's available and what is out there. We tend to be pretty spontaneous in planning our vacations and not plan way ahead, so sometimes we're limited on what we can get. But there you can see the front road that drives right by. The parking lot was nice. We got 2 spots, even though we just needed 1. We had 2 spots, which left plenty of space. You might remember my last vacation I did was in California on the beach, and the parking was atrocious and so tight. So it was nice to have a little extra parking this go around. 2 bathrooms upstairs, and the bathrooms were very nice. It was clean, well done, not like crazy, fancy, but definitely updated. We stayed in a few vacation rentals that needed a little bit of update and love. And there's a few things in this one, but nothing too bad. And didn't really have any issues at all here that I can remember, as far as, HVAC, any leaks, anything like that, which we've had in a few others. This is the master bedroom, master bath. Again, they left the toilet seat up, which is, again, not a big deal. It's just weird they did that, and doesn't bother me too much. But shower was nice, and like I said, everything worked just fine. There were a few spots in the floor, if you can see that. I don't know if I show it up close, but after staying there, we had our own laundry, which is always nice. My wife loves to do laundry while we're on vacation. They patched the floor, kind of weird and wonky, but again, not a big deal to me. You must have had a hole in there. TVs were fine, nothing fancy. And yeah, it was a pretty cool place. Most of our time is spent outside doing stuff, but it is nice to cool down inside a little bit because it was warm in Florida, that's for sure. And the other slightly different thing about this place was you can see you've got no privacy with the other units. Usually there's a wall to kind of separate the units, and the same thing on the lower level too. It's just kind of open, which is rare. It was fine. Didn't cause any issues, just something that was a little different. But the water down there is so beautiful. I'll show it here in a second. It's just so blue. The white sand beaches are extremely soft and not quite as hot because they're white. Really neat place. And then, yeah, they have a little boardwalk in front of all the units there. And you can walk to restaurants if you want. But yeah, we spend most of our time in the ocean and enjoying that. And here's what it looks like from the back. And my kids talking in the background. But water is so nice. And when we first got there and got in the water, you know, we've been hearing all these stories about how hot the water is. It was pretty warm. I was like, oh my gosh, is this too warm? Like, is this gonna be uncomfortably warm? But it cooled down in the morning. It was like 80 some degrees. It wasn't like crazy hot. It was absolutely perfect water. It was in the 90s, but if you're along the beach and in the ocean, it didn't feel too hot. But if you got inside, you know, off the beach a little bit, it was definitely hot with some humidity down there. And of course my kids loved it, and the sunsets were always fun to watch as they came out, and weather was perfect. Had like one storm roll through the whole time. That was it. The rest of it was just perfect weather. And here's what it looked like during the day, almost every day. And I don't know what it is about the panhandle area, but the water looks so much like the Caribbean, with just the light blue turquoise water. It was really shallow out there most of the ways. We have a sandbar that would appear at night when the tide went down, and we call it our little river that we could play in. It's also pretty nice too because the Airbnb actually provided umbrellas. So every morning, umbrella truck would drive by, deliver chairs and umbrellas for us, just sitting out there. And so that was pretty nice to have too. Again, that was our 15 feet right there. And it wasn't like anybody's out there policing it too far, but if someone came with a bunch of people in a big tent and stuff, then people would start talking about it and like, hey, what's going on over here? Here was the storm that came through, which was really ugly looking, but it just rained and nothing too crazy, some thunder, but it looked nasty when it was moving over us, and kind of cool to see. I did a little time lapse of it later on. Kind of cool to see the storm move over, but it was looking pretty rough there for a moment, but we all lived, we all survived. Like I said, the rest of the trip was absolutely beautiful. No rain or anything. So yeah, here's a time lapse that I took here. And luckily I have a really awesome team back in Colorado who can do stuff for me, manage my properties, help out with different things that allow me to take vacations like this. So thank you to them who make all this possible. And I highly suggest getting help if you're trying to do run a business, be an investor all on your own without any help. It is really hard to do. So highly suggest getting help. And yeah, the sunsets, like I said, were amazing. There's our river that we called it when the sandbar appeared at night. Really neat. They had this airplane that kept flying by real low, doing crazy tricks and loops and different stuff. That was cool to see. My son loved that. And one day we did have to stay out of the water. Well, everyone stayed out of the water except for me. There were jellyfish all over. And people kept getting stung. And for some reason, either I didn't feel the stings or they didn't bother me. I was fine. So I was out there swimming, snorkeling, collecting jellyfish, and everybody else was not in the water. But yeah, there's my daughter doing her dance and gymnastic stuff in the sunset. So pretty cool place for sure. And the kids and everybody all had a ton of fun. And yeah, happy to go to this area. We've gone to the Panama City Beach area. This is a little bit more in between Pensacola and Panama City Beach. Loved both areas. And then of course, yes, we have to play in the sand. And we did dam up the river. And then you ready? Broke the dam to see what happened, because what else were we going to do with the dam?
Like a tiny frog. Why are you doing that?
Back up so we can, your shadow's in the way. Have a lot more footage of the dam, but I'm guessing you guys don't want to see that. But we did see some interesting stuff. Well, of course, we had our friend the bird who came. Some guys came to work on it a little bit while we're there. They said, oh, this railing's loose. So what'd they do? They came and just drilled another board on top of their loose railing. Like, makes me feel better about some of the stuff we see happen here too. And this is kind of funny as well. This is what happens when you get your Airbnb painted, but the painters don't have a ladder. They painted everywhere they could reach and then just left the other spots unpainted. So again, not big deals, not something that bothers us, but just kind of interesting and fun to see those things and know that they don't just happen to me, but they happen to everybody. So thanks for watching. Just want to show the Airbnb real quick, some of our vacation, and we left with a bird friend who was not shy. He flew over and he literally would eat out of your hand if you wanted to let him do that. So he was used to people and getting a free lunch. All right, take care. We'll have lots more videos of my own rentals, properties, businesses coming up here soon, and updates on everything we are doing. And we'll try and get back to another cool vacation spot and show you where we stay there too. Okay, I have to end with bonus footage. It was so weird.
No, that ain't why you laughing. You laughing at me.
If you can hear this lady was talking to some guy ahead of us, and she said it was James Vanderbeek, and we could only see him from the back, but she kept saying how she was trying to give him a massage because she gave the Broncos massages, and the whole back of the plane was busting out laughing. And then one kid laughed so hard she busted him, and it got real awkward really quick. But anyway, this was who was James Vanderbeek right there, and it was not James Vanderbeek at all. I don't think he'd be flying in the back of a Frontier flight, and please don't fly Frontier. It was one of the few direct flights, there he is, we could get, and their bag policies are just crazy. So we need to plan a little sooner so we can have a better choice of flights next time for sure, or just get a jet. Maybe we'll do that.